Good afternoon and hello, faithful. Welcome to another edition of White Throne Metal Radio's Top 10 Songs. I am your host, Keven Crothers, station manager for White Throne Metal Radio, host for the Throne Room podcast, and staff writer for Heaven's Metal magazine. So glad you've chosen to hang out with us for the next 15 minutes or so. I'm going to discuss top 10 songs from Christian heavy metal band Sacred Warrior. Sacred Warrior, many of you probably know, released 4 albums back in the late 80s and early 90s. They released one more album back in 2013. Recently, last year, they also released a single, which you can find on YouTube. I believe it might also be downloadable through iTunes and such like that as well. But today, I want to talk about our top 10 songs from Sacred Warrior. There are 4 albums. Briefly, I'll just show them to you. 4 of the 5. Rebellion, the original release on Intense back in 1988. A remaster that came out here about 10 years ago or so. I believe there is another remaster out done on Retroactive Records. I don't have that one here handy. Also, the Master's Command, the original from 1989 on Intense Records, and then the remaster from Rox Productions that was released about 3 years ago now, 2017. The third album, Wicked Generation, a concept album, again on Intense Records. This came out in 1990. And then in 1991, Obsessions, my personal favorite album by then, the Intense Records release from 91, a remaster reissue from last year on Retroactive Records. Sounds fantastic, by the way. You'll definitely want to get a copy of that if you don't already. But anyway, I don't have a physical copy of their 5th album, Waiting in Darkness. I have files that I believe were sent to me to do a music review of the album about 6 or 7 years ago. So I have those. I've had a chance to go through them again. I do, just so you know, I've ordered the CD a couple of days ago. It's just not here in time for this particular video. So it is on its way. I'll be able to have all of that. And hopefully we'll get another release of some sort here in the not too distant future. That song they released last year, pretty darn heavy, and a little more modern sounding in a very positive way from Sacred Warrior. So let's talk about my top 10 songs. And remember, these are my favorites. It's not that this is their best. You know, it's not like my list is better than anybody. These are my top 10 favorites. Your list may vary. You know, all of the things that I've done as far as White Throne and the Throne Room and the Heaven's Metal, you can see the links in the description below. But I also want to see your top 10 songs from Sacred Warrior in the comments down below as well. So coming in at number 10, off of the 3rd album, Wicked Generation, the opening track, No Happy Endings. Heavy, a great riff, a really stellar solo from Bruce Swift on that song. And many of you will probably be surprised to know this is my only inclusion off of Wicked Generation. I know for a lot of Sacred Warrior fans, this is like, as I've heard it said, this is their best album. It was their apex. I just had a really hard time getting into it. And for me, I just didn't find all of the songs that memorable. That's just me. But No Happy Endings is a great song. Miss Linda is a great song. Minister by Night was a really killer tune as well. Definitely some honorable mentions there. But number 9 comes in off their 2nd album, Master's Command. And this song, too, may spark some controversy because it's not just a straightforward Sacred Warrior song. This includes Mr. Roger Martinez and Larry Farkas from Vengeance, albeit Vengeance, not Vengeance Rising. Vengeance. Of course, I'm talking about The Flood. I got a chance to see Sacred Warrior one time. It was in '89 at Cornerstone Festival before Master's Command came out. I remember they played Master's Command, and then I couldn't remember if it was a closing song or a encore. And they brought out Roger Martinez and Larry Farkas, and they cranked up The Flood. And man, that song absolutely hits replay on my machine. Every time I listen to it, I can hit it really loud. It's heavy. It's driving. It's just really intense heavy metal with Roger Martinez's full-on Vengeance vocal, and then you get Ray Parrott in the contrast. You know, Sacred Warrior, for many folks, have that Queensryche, Fate's Warning type vibe, and this song is not really that vibe. It's so much heavier than most of their material, probably why I like it so much, but it's got a great hook, and it just drives. The Flood comes in at number 9. Number 8, off of their Obsessions album closer, Madman. Epic. It starts off with a brilliant acoustic introduction, Ray with his melodic vocal, and then the twin guitar attack on this record, because they brought in guitar player John Johnson in addition to Bruce Swift, because Rick Macias had left the band at this point. And that song has a killer riff. It's 6+ minutes of pure heavy metal, just grinding it out. It's mid-tempo, a little slower, but the way it's produced, the way it grabs you, just absolutely, and the hook is magnificent. Madman comes in at number 8. Number 7, off of the Master's Command album, Bound in Chains. It was a tie for me, really, between the title track, Master's Command, and Bound in Chains. Bound in Chains is just heavier. Some really nice staccatic type time changes. The way the riff and the interchange with everything. It's a heavy song. Coming in at number 6, off the debut, Rebellion. Off of the Rebellion album, Children of the Light. A barn burner of a track if there ever was one. Great drums on there by Tony Velasquez. A really nice guitar solo from Bruce Swift. Very just fast, driving. A great song. Children of the Light comes in at number 6. Number 5, also off of the Obsessions album. My favorite record from Sacred Warrior, Fire from Heaven. Heavy. It's melodic. It's got a great chorus. Great guitar solo, a solid heavy song. Fire from Heaven comes in at number 5. Number 4, off of the Rebellion album. This could have been a toss-up, but I went with Mad, Mad World. A great hook. Again, just when Sacred Warrior write great songs that are very memorable with a hook, gosh, I could sing Ray's melodic vocal parts. I wish I could sing them, but you know what I mean. You sing along and you're just going, man, this is great. And Mad, Mad World comes in at number 7. Great song. Now coming into the top 3, and I have a feeling this is going to surprise some people. Maybe not. Coming in at number 3. This is off of their last album, Waiting in Darkness. And that is the title track, Waiting in Darkness. They released a music video for this song, and that I played often and endlessly. It's heavy. It's got a great breakdown, some really nice musical interludes, great guitar work from Bruce Swift, just everything. And it features the vocals of Eli Princeton on this release. Eli was also the vocalist for The Sacrificed. And Waiting in Darkness had a more modern sound. It wasn't your traditional heavy metal or even proggy metal type sound that you would equate to their earlier material. It wasn't like they suddenly sounded like Disturbed or something like that. It was heavy because of the way it's produced and the way the songs are structured and arranged. It's just a fantastic album. I mean, there were other songs on there I could have put, but I didn't. Waiting in Darkness comes in at number 3. Number 2, back to the Obsessions album, Temples on Fire. I love this song. Driving, fast, great start with the drums interacting. It's a great hook, great vocal, again from Ray. I love the guitar solo. And it just drives. To me, that was one of the things Sacred Warrior wrote several ballads as well, slower songs. And for me, I always liked their heavier, faster stuff that had like a kind of more obvious hook. It wasn't always subtle. And Temples on Fire just cranks. You could put this song on right now, turn it up, and man, what a great tune. Coming in at number 1. It's not on the Obsessions album. It's actually back to the debut. I'm talking about the album closer, Sword of Victory. What a great anthemic, raise your fist, raise your hands, a great song to sing along with, mid-tempo. It's very regal, I think, in the chorus, that hook, the way it was arranged and produced. When you get to that chorus, it's anthemic. It begs you to sing along, and it's worshipful in its way. It's not a praise song. Don't get me wrong. It's a driving heavy metal track that it's perfect. It's a great tune, an all-time classic in my book. What else can I say? Sword of Victory comes in at number 1. Some other honorable mentions from the debut. How about Heavens Are Calling? Stay Away from Evil. From Master's Command, the title track, Master's Command, Uncontrolled. How about when they do the worship song, Holy, Holy, Holy? Beautiful stuff. From Waiting in Darkness, Long Live the King, Living Sacrifice. From Wicked Generation, Miss Linda. Again, I mentioned that earlier, Minister by Night. That's definitely an album. I know I'm going to go back and revisit it again. I know there's a remaster available. I just don't have it yet. But and with all of these top 10s, this can change. This can change next week. But top 10 songs from Sacred Warrior. Hey, what are your top 10 songs from Sacred Warrior? What's your favorite albums? Mention it in the comments below. If you like the channel, click the like button and subscribe. Going to keep trying to do these. Again, things to discuss while we are in the COVID-19 lockdown, as it were. Let's talk about something else, something happier, more positive, more uplifting. And nothing wrong with discussing some of our favorite classic Christian metal bands. Don't worry, I got some Theocracy for you new guys in the pipeline. Maybe some Rob Rock. I even contemplating 10 great songs from Grave Robber. Lots of stuff in the pipeline, folks. Again, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Thanks again for tuning in, and God bless.